How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
Some idea.
I am not completely like other people.
What do you mean by that?
People dislike me because I am not completely like them. I am trying to do with my life something which few people try to do, and this influences my thinking and consequently my actions.
What is it you're trying to do with your life?
Play the piano for people.
I'm not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.
this the end? There's a noise inside my head of crying people facing death. Is this the end? Is this the end? I'm burning in the stone. To the world, what have we done to the world? I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide.
What up, what up, what up? Happy Monday, guys. Welcome to The Cult. The Cult is a show that I stream Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, where we talk about really whatever I feel like talking about. It is my cult. I am the fascist dictator of my cult. I am the authoritarian of my own cult, and I'll do what I want, okay? Now, my first question is this. Did anyone learn a lesson when I cut the stream short on Socialism Saturday the other day? Did anyone learn something from that experience? I'm just really curious because I've only done that one other time before. And I know the last time I angrily left a stream on Socialism Saturday, both Bot and Reagan wrote I think Bot, I don't know if Reagan did this. I know Reagan has never forgotten the definition since, but I know that Bot wrote the definition of racial capitalism on her wall after the last time I did this. The reason that I cut the stream short on Socialism Saturday is my chat went retarded. They all did at the same time. And it's kind of like, if people are just not listening and people are not comprehending, we need to live to fight another day. Also, I was really aggravated that people could not provide a simple answer to a question that I've answered probably 100+ times in the last year. And so I cut the stream short. And so the answer was, for people who missed it, we had a new person in our chat, and the new person was like, these socialists just fly on private jets, and they expect everyone else to not fly on private jets. And I was like, no, that's completely wrong. And then I asked the chat, why is that wrong? Why is it wrong to say that these socialists are the elitists who all fly on private jets when no one else is allowed to fly on a private jet? Does anyone want to take a stab at the answer again? No one in the chat could answer this on Saturday, and I was like, are you kidding me? Because this really should be one of the easiest answers that people have ever gotten in the history of us watching socialism. Why is it completely incorrect to say that the socialists that we watch on this channel are not flying in private fucking jets while they expect everyone else to fly regular? These are regular people. These are not WEF elites. He was wrong because the WEF is capitalist and these people are socialists. These are not the same people. I don't know what was going on Saturday. I don't know what was going on. And that wasn't even, you know what? I'm going to be honest. That wasn't even the first retarded thing that my chat said on Saturday. And so I was like, we need to live to fight another day. This is just not, I'm going to teach a lesson. Grassroots socialists are not WEF Davos asshole elites who are capitalist. Radical socialists are people like the WEF and are people, okay, radical socialists and people like the WEF and Soros are two different groups. The WEF are capitalists, the regular people are not. Yo. That's all I'm asking for, guys. That's all I wanted. I was like, I have said the answer to this question no less than 100 fucking times in the last year, and no one can answer this question. I was like, I am wasting my time. We need to stop. We need to stop. But, you know, I was planning on finishing this stream today. We are going to watch the rest of this. Don't worry, we are going to watch the rest of it. But we're not going to do it today because something else came up. Okay, so my original plan for today was that we were going to watch this. No, if you think you know the answer, just say it. Please risk being wrong. Listen, I might yell at you if you're wrong, but at least you'll learn something. And if you're right, then you would have been the hero. If you were right, you would have been the hero. You would have saved the stream, Maximus. Why didn't you answer? Guys, you've got to stop being afraid of being wrong. People are wrong all the time. There's nothing wrong with being wrong. There's nothing wrong with getting a good dressing down sometimes when you're wrong, because that's how we learn. That is how we learn. We learn more from being wrong than we do from being right. And at the end of the day, I want all of you to get the right answers, but no, 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 wrong, no. No, that is not correct. The socialist elites are not radical capitalists. That is not correct at all in any way. You need to just unlearn everything. This is an instance where I hope that you're not afraid of being wrong, because everything that you wrote in this chat is wrong. Everything you wrote in this chat is wrong. Okay? But you know what? We're going to live to fight another day. No, I am not going to scroll back through and see your previous comment. No. That's not going to happen. We're not going to be scrolling through the chat where I'm looking for stuff for half a fucking hour. Okay. But we have other things to do today. And listen, the other thing that we are going to do sometime this week, but we're not going to do it today, I can't tell you how many people were like, Carlin, we need to watch these new James Lindsay videos. James has released an 1.5-hour diatribe about communism, which I'm sure has nothing to do with actual communism. We're going to need to debunk that. And then just 3 hours ago, James released this video about the woke right. Listen, we're going to watch both of these videos this week, but we're not going to do it today. We are not going to do it. It's okay. No one needs to apologize. You know what? Tolkien fan, the best apology you can give me is to learn the correct answer and never, ever, 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 ever forget it again. That's it. We're not going to do this today. We're going to do something extra special today because does anyone know who Rain Dove is? Does anyone know who Rain Dove is? Oh, bro. James has been misinformation for a long ass time, for at least 2 years. At least 2 years. James has been an absolute bullshit con artist. 2 fucking years. Come back for any of my James debunking streams. I'll show you. I'll show you. Not a he. Not a he. Now, I've actually followed Rain Dove for a long time, and listen, this is one of those things that, I don't think that Rain Dove is a bad person. I don't. Rain Dove, when I first started following they, them, Rain Dove is a they, them with giant tits. Giant tits. Rain Dove is not a dude. Rain Dove is a they, them with giant tits. And the reason that I started following Rain Dove like a long time ago is they were doing this model thing that I thought was just kind of interesting. And listen, yes, they're queer, and yes, I don't agree with queer as an ideology, but, like, you know, sometimes I like artistic things. And they were doing this thing where, like, they were dressing as, like, a boy in one picture and a girl in another, and they were doing, like, this gender bending stuff. And sometimes I kind of think that's an interesting thing to look at, even if it's weird and it kind of freaks me out. Like, and so I've been following, and I've seen more of Rain Dove's pubic hair than I ever want to see in my life. Anyway, I've been following Rain Dove for a while, like, legitimately. And so last night, I get a notification from Rain Dove. I'm undercover at the Trump rally in Madison Square Garden. And I was like, what? And so I quickly screenshotted, like, the stories that they were and there wasn't, like, the live stream they did from inside Madison Square Garden. There was nothing there. It was just like, there was really nothing. But apparently Rain Dove had gotten dressed up as a he/him. And the funniest part of it is, like, they thought that they were he/him passing, and I was like, oh, girl, non-binary girl, of course, because not really a girl, but, like, I was like, you're not passing as a boy. You might think you're passing as a boy, but you're not, and I mean that with all due respect. I really do. But if you think that you pass as, like, you should have seen the outfit, and you're gonna see the outfit in the video. You should have seen the outfit. They dressed as a cowboy, like a full-on fucking cowboy. Actually, I have the pictures of it. Hang on, let me show you my Twitter. Hang on, I just gotta get this up in a window where I'm not giving away information I don't want you guys to know. I have it on my Twitter. I posted it last night. They dressed up like a fucking cowboy to go to the Trump rally. Here it is. See? I was like, oh, you think that's how Trump supporters dress? I was like, you are not undercover. Listen, when I go undercover at socialist events, I actually know what socialists dress like because I watch socialists all the time. And I actually do. I do my hair like socialists. I wear clothes like socialists. I wore a fucking chest binder. Like, I do. This is so funny because this is like a leftist queer interpretation of who Trump supporters are in New York City as a fucking cowboy. But last night after the Trump rally, and they've got some stories right now. We can look at their stories if you guys like. You can see they were at the Trump rally. You can see this is going to go through their stories. Last night after the Trump rally, they posted, they did a live stream. And I ended up recording almost the entire live stream on my phone as it was happening. And they were doing their kind of debrief, like, here's what happened at the Trump rally from my perspective. And I would say there was some crazy unhinged shit that came out of Rain Dove's mouth. And it was so bizarre to listen to because, like, you're listening to this person. Let me see if I can actually just put the sound up on this. Hang on. Let me see if I can put the sound up. I don't know why the sound's not on. No, that turned on. Maybe there's just no sound. I don't know.
Something, Trump maniacs? I don't see no stinking Nazis in
so
here.
in listening to this video last night, the live stream that they did after the rally, like, it was like you could feel like they had such cognitive dissonance about the whole situation because part of the why can't I hear it? What the fuck? Why can't I hear it? I can't hear anything now. Uh-oh. Hang on. Emergency. No, I can hear that video. I just can't hear the story. That's bizarre. Okay, well, I can't hear it at all, Sam. So as I've said, guys, let me give you a fucking pro tip. When I say I can't hear anything at all, and then you say you're pretty quiet compared to it, Carlin, that actually doesn't mean anything to me because I literally can't hear anything at all. Okay? Like, I can't hear what's going on. So we're just not going to do the sound. We're not going to do the sound. But maybe we'll look at that later. But what I have that I can actually hear, I have got the almost, okay, Sam, again, it's not fucking helpful, bro. Not helpful. It doesn't mean anything to me. I couldn't hear anything. Like, jeez. Not helpful. Guys, I know everyone means well, but you guys trying to troubleshoot an audio problem while I'm on a live stream is probably one of the most unhelpful things that can happen, okay? Please just stop. Please stop. The next, okay, let me make this very clear. The next person that tries to troubleshoot an audio problem, I'm putting in a timeout in the chat. I don't want to see it in the chat. Does everyone understand? Okay. Okay. I'm just going to sit here and wait. You guys let me know when you're done. I've only asked that something stop 4 or 5 times now. Can we be done? Would you guys actually like to get to this? Or do you want to keep troubleshooting my audio problems when you don't know what they are and I don't know what they are and I've asked you to stop several times? Are we done now? All right. Thank you. Thank you. Because I actually have something better than Rain Dove's Twitter stories, okay? I recorded almost all of Rain Dove's, like, debrief after the Trump rally that they did literally while they were walking down the street in New York. I recorded almost the entire thing on my phone as it happened. And so what we're going to watch today, and I watched most of it too, what we're going to watch today is the instant kind of gut reaction coverage of this queer influencer who went undercover at the Trump rally at Madison Square Garden. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of crazy shit that comes out of Rain Dove's mouth. And you're going to see that. I'm not going to, like, spoil it or anything. There's also a lot of cognitive dissonance between, like, everyone there was really nice, but they wanted to kill me. But everyone there was really nice, but they hate me as a queer person. Everyone there was really nice, but I had to be afraid for my safety. And you're going to see them going back and forth. And it's kind of like, it's just an interesting thing to see. And so it's about 50 minutes long. And this is just as it happened on their Instagram. And we are going to watch the thing and we're going to talk about it. And listen, I want to be very, very clear about this. Again, I don't think that Rain Dove is a bad person. I'm going to try to be very respectful of the pronouns, which are they, them in this case. And because, listen, you might not, I certainly don't agree with queer as an ideology. And for people who are new, hey, Heidi, guys, welcome Heidi, the most famous lesbian in America right now. Heidi and her wife are the most famous lesbians in America, and Heidi is here in my chat right now. I feel so blessed. Heidi even got a reply from Glenn Greenwald. How cool was that? How cool was that? We got famous lesbians. Now, Heidi, I don't want you to get any ideas. That doesn't mean I'm turning lesbian, okay? I'm just saying. So we're going to be watching this today. And listen, guys, like, I do try to, like, so for people who might be new, people who haven't seen me before, listen, for me, how I define queer is not about being gay, queer is not about being trans. Queer is a far left political ideology. And Rain Dove is clearly on the far left. Rain Dove says capitalism in this video. I was so proud. I was like, yes. But I don't hate people like Rain Dove. I really don't. I've actually seen, to be a little bit like, listen, I know that people are going to watch this and they're going to want to shit on this person, and I'm going to encourage people not to do that. I really want to rise above all that bullshit. I do not like the constant insults and, things like that goes on social media, even with people you disagree with. I think we can be better than that. I think we can have intellectual discussions about ideas and reality and things without being just overtly kind of like low IQ retards. Can we just rise above low IQ retard? And the thing that I will say about Rain Dove, because again, I followed them for a long time. Rain Dove actually does a lot of service work for their community. Rain Dove actually went to Palestine. Like, talk about queers for Palestine. Rain Dove, and you can see this on their Instagram, they actually did go to Palestine to help and to try to help people there. And so this is a person that really does put their money where their mouth is. This is a person that really does live their political ideology, like aggressively. And I think that that's actually kind of an admirable thing. I've also seen one of the reasons that I started following Rain Dove is in the first place is because occasionally Rain Dove would post DM conversations that they had with people where they were talking to people of different political persuasions, and they were always nice and they were always just trying to get people to see things from a different perspective. And so I really don't want anyone to be hateful. I'm not going to be hateful. Obviously, we politically disagree with this person. I think sometimes it's okay to politically disagree with this person. My goal with this is not to make fun on them. It's not to clown on them. It's not to do any of that. It's to honestly get what their perspective was being an undercover, non-binary, queer influencer that went to the Trump rally. You used to have a massive crush on Rain Dove. I'm giant ass tits, right? Impressively large tits. So that's what we're going to be doing today, guys. We're going to be watching this. Rain Dove is a bleeder, as happened in this video. So Rain Dove was assigned female at birth and is now a non-binary they, them. And we respect pronouns because everyone deserves basic respect and courtesy. So that is what we're doing today, guys. Couple quick things before we get started. As always, if you want to support the work I'm doing, head over to my Substack. That is Carlyn, KARLYN.substack.com. Sign up for a membership of $8 a month, $80 a year. If you sign up for a membership now by going to the Unwoke Roundup email, you are going to be able to join me on a community Zoom call at 7 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. How you get access to that is you go to the Unwoke Roundup email, you scroll all the way down to the bottom, and underneath this red box, you're going to find access to the Zoom link. You're also going to find access to my supporter Discord. You're going to find a 10% off coupon in the Unwoke Art store. Those are just some of the benefits that you get for being a supporter of my work, and I really do appreciate it. Now, guys, the big challenge this week, as you guys know, in a couple weeks, I'm going on a road trip with my friend Siggy, where we're driving around and we're doing content with people, and we're going to go do other stuff too. And so before I leave for that road trip, I am determined to get my fucking book done. Okay? And so my goal for the next week, and probably a little bit more than that, is I want to post 5 chapters a day of this book to get it done. Now, 5 chapters is about 5,000 words. My chapters are about 1,000 words long. I'm writing shorter chapters as part of this book. I'm writing it's called Re-Education, the Definitive Anti-Communist Guide to Decoding the Left. And when you sign up on speaksocialist.substack.com, which is a completely different Substack than my main one, it's a special standalone thing, you are going to get the draft chapters of my book literally as I am writing them. And so you're going to get access to this information before the book is even released. My goal is to have the book done very, very, very soon. And, I've got a little bit of ways to go, but I tend to write best under pressure, so it's probably going to be okay. I got a couple chapters that I launched in the past, today, honestly. We've got a chapter about how socialists are funded, and no, it is not George Soros. We've also got a chapter about the creation of white people, and there's going to be at least 3 more launching today, and hopefully 5 every day for the next week, because that's what's going to keep me on schedule, and sometimes we just have to be determined about this stuff. And so if you want to get the chapters as they're written, that is speaksocialist.substack.com. And you can support my work there and get access to that. And of course, if you want to get some sweet, sweet merch, there's just a couple more days to get the special Halloween edition anti-communist merch in the Unwoke Art store. As a reminder, these items are only going to be available during the month of October. And guess what, guys? The month of October is almost done. So you only got a couple more days to get one of these items. We've got Marxism is Coming for Your Soul. We've got collectivism. We've got everyone is equal until they're not. And we've got the Marxist Utopia of the Dead. I've got them on t-shirts, on sweatshirts, on pint glasses, on mugs, on stickers. We've also got the sweet, sweet Marxism is Evil yard sign in the Unwoke art store. And of course, all purchases do go to support the work I'm doing. And I really appreciate it. With that said, who is ready to get into the video? You just got a shirt and some magnets? Awesome. Oh, I do see that order coming through. Thank you, Maria. I do appreciate that. I'll process that right now. Who's ready to get into our video? And again, guys, you're not... Trendlin, calm the fuck down, okay? Trendlin, I'm going to make you a deal. I will launch the penguin shirt in November, all right? I do actually have a penguin shirt. Just for... Because Trendlin has been haranguing me. Oh, fuck, the tank tops. Fuck. You can cut up a t-shirt into a tank top, though, Alexis. Just cut up a t-shirt. They look cool that way. Anyway. Who's ready to get into the video, guys? Please mount the like button for me if you would be so kind. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not already. We are watching exclusively on my channel, because I recorded this shit on my phone last night, Rain Dove's post-Trump Undercover at the Madison Square Garden rally, and we're going to see what they had to say. All right, let's get this party started.
There's been a lot of you have been wondering why, and I went there to write an article as a they them about like they them, right?
And listen, guys, of course there's going to be audio problems with this because it was a live stream on the street, okay? I don't want to hear any complaining. We're going to have to do the best we can.
I asked a lot of people, interviewed a lot of people. A lot of people thought I was a dude. A lot of people really trusted me and shared a lot of things they probably shouldn't have shared on record. And I'm gonna go write this article now about what that experience was like. You know, it's one thing to hear like one person constantly slamming my identity, my community, things like this, but it's another to go and see the voters, who are these people. And to be honest, I wasn't even gonna go. I found out about this Madison Square Garden thing last minute, and I got an assignment, I got an invitation, so I went. Because they literally, no one else would go. Everyone was like too scared. But as you can see,
everyone else was too scared to go to the Trump rally. All right.
I blend in quite well. This is what I wore. And
yeah, this is the part that, again, this just really tickles me. Look, guys, I dressed like a cowboy at the Trump rally. I completely blended in. No one knew I wasn't a boy. No, I mean, but no, true, and this is why I'm not clowning on Rain Dove. I'm really not clowning on Rain Dove at all. Rain Dove has actually done some legit shit. All right.
It went pretty okay. I mean, nobody's touched me, which is good. Nobody suspected a thing. I did get my period blood through my pants, yo. Like, look, I got like red on my fucking pants, so I was like, oh my god, it's a dead giveaway that I'm not the dude you're looking for. It's hard. Some people shared some really legitimate issues that they're very concerned about in their future, and some people said things like, what has the trans community ever done for me? Why would I ever do anything for them? They've never cared about me. Why would I care about them? So I did hear a lot of this, but I also just saw, I mean, I don't know how to tell this to you all, but towards the end, like thousands of people were leaving en masse, partially because they had to get their buses because the thing went really late, and partially I think some people were like tired and done with it and not really interested in what was being shared. But the other part of it was that, like, prior to Trump getting up and speaking for a very long period of time, and that people leaving, I gotta tell you, it was actually wild because this venue was full, and like a couple thousand people were turned away. When people keep on trying to say, oh, these rallies are weak and they're empty and things like that, I don't know what to tell you, friends, but like, they are not.
I thought that was so funny. Like, apparently Democrats are talking about how Trump doesn't actually, it's like Democrats and Republicans are exactly the same. Republicans have been saying for months and months and months, Kamala Harris doesn't have anyone at their rallies. It's all fake. Me. No one even goes. Me. And I've been watching the Kamala Harris rallies, and I'm like, yo, you guys are making shit up. Kamala Harris absolutely does have people at her rallies, and you're full of it if you think she doesn't have people at her rallies. But apparently Democrats are doing exactly the same thing. Democrats are like, Donald Trump doesn't even have anyone at his rallies, and me, and like they're not even full, and me. And it's like they're exactly the same. And Rain Dove is here going, no, guys, no, it's full. What can we do? Hey, I already told you, you're gonna have to deal with the audio. This was a live stream from the streets in New York City. Do you want them to have a professional fucking microphone? Sometimes you have to suffer through bad audio to figure out what actually happened.
And actually, it was really scary because I'm standing there by myself. Nobody went with me, right? At any time they mentioned anything regarding trans people, anything regarding gender, people, the whole audience, Wah! You could just feel it. I just felt like people's like approval for the attack, like ripple through my chest. It was so loud. People were stamping their feet and banging their chest, thousands of them. And I have to tell you, man, we are really, honestly, it's very dangerous because the things that were said at this rally, openly, and and the crazy thing is like so many of the people in this rally, right, that I met, all of them really were like, they're just saying that. They're just, oh, but that's just what they just say. That's just what they're saying, right? Everyone just says it. Oh, just speak. It's just what they're saying. I'm not even kidding you. Every single person except for like 2 people that I talked to were convinced that they're like, oh, but we say stuff, but we would never. Or like, oh, we're so peaceful. Like, and the scary thing is as some of these people were talking, I have it on video. People were just like watching football. They were just like, as they were sharing like very, 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 very volatile stuff. And whenever I would bring it up, like I bring it up jokingly, because I have to be careful by myself. I'm literally near the edge of a balcony, which is like my worst fear. I hate heights. I don't want to get tossed over because there were a couple protesters and they were, I don't know if it's going to make the news. I haven't checked yet, but they were definitely taken out very quickly. So, I mean, I just like, as I was there, like people just really were just like, yeah, but that's just what they say, it's just what they do. And I'm like, but it's okay for you, it's okay. And I couldn't push too hard because I had to be really, really careful to not blow my cover, because it not only was unsafe for me, but it just is a very dangerous situation. I mean, I can't tell you, like I was surrounded by probably at least 10,000 people in that stadium. It was full.
It was so dangerous. I was surrounded by 10,000 Trump supporters. It was so dangerous. They were gonna murder me in any second. It's like, listen, they work themselves up into a frenzy over these things. And listen, I have no doubt that for Rain Dove, this was a very real thing. This was a very real fear. Like they actually thought they might get thrown over a balcony at the Trump rally. And it's like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, it's like they have worked themselves up for years over a perception of this person that you might not like their politics. You might not like Trump's politics. You might not like how his politics affect your life. Okay, fine. That's legitimate. But they actually think that like Trump supporters are like murderous people. It's like, I was at January 6th. January 6th didn't go far enough. Like, it was like if Trump supporters were actually murderous people, they wouldn't have been running around with flags. They would have had, like, guns and stuff. And I'm not suggesting we should have guns. I would never suggest that. But I'm just saying that you're saying that they tried to overthrow the government violently while carrying flags. And, like, if they were actually as violent as you think they are, they probably would have brought something a lot better than a flag. But I'm going to tell you something. There was something. I didn't want to believe it, to be honest. I keep on seeing these things that, you know, it's a dwindling thing, it's a fringe movement, that whole entire MAGA thing. And today what I saw is people coming from all over to support this person
who really honestly believe that like we're completely discardable. Like, I mean, they're like, but what? It's like 1% of the population. Like, fuck them, you know. People when they were saying like, we gotta get them stopping harming the kids, and you gotta get people not using pronouns and made up language. People are like, you can't get it by killing them. You kill them, motherfuckers. People around me. I got it all.
So now, and I'm gonna be interested to see what clips they got, because now they're saying like, whenever the issue of trans was brought up, that people around them at the rally was like, kill all the trans people, we gotta kill them. I don't believe that happened at all. I don't believe that happened at all. I want clips, I want evidence, I want receipts, I want to know what was actually said, because I have been to several Trump rallies. I've been around this space for a long time. And I've heard people say some outlandish shit, and I've heard people say some hateful shit. And I don't like when people say that, honestly. I don't think that we should be leading with hate. I don't think we should ever advocate for violence. I don't think we should be doing that. But I don't believe for one red second that there were rounds and rounds of yelling, we need to kill all the trans people, guys. I don't believe it for one red second. I want receipts. I want proof.
On tape. It's crazy. Anyway, obviously we knew this was happening, but I just want to let you know that I am like still processing what I just witnessed, and I'm hoping I asked the right questions. I'm hoping I do justice by this article. It broke my heart seeing so many people in a room so glassy-eyed. It hurt me on like a very deep level to just see how many people just were so stoked to like, so many people are just so stoked to just be like, fuck them, kill them, drown them. I could not.
Yeah, okay, that didn't happen.
It's really, really sad.
Things that didn't happen.
It's really, really sad. And they support each other. And you know what's even crazier? How many women there were.
How many women there were.
Obviously, it was majority, like, white people. I mean, you could see it in the videos. It's not something I fabricated, just majority white people. There were a lot of women there. The person on my right was a woman. The person on my left was a couple that had been married for 39 years. And I was just like, as they were talking about women in these rally in ways that were really restrictive, I just watched them clap and applaud. Or just literally the person next to me, she works for Moms of America, which is like a pro-Trump conservative organization of moms who want to get the Department of Education abolished. And she had VIP tickets, but she couldn't go down to the section because it had been overbooked by accident. She's sitting next to me. At any time Trump would say something that was like not to taste, right? She would literally be like, oh, boys. I'm not even kidding. It was like that Seinfeld joke, you know, the girl who drinks the water. You know, that I think Elaine made that joke, actually. It was like that. It was like anytime you said anything that was blatantly terrifying, she was like, oh, boys. He's just so cavalier. I'm like, I don't want to accuse people for not thinking for themselves, but there was no complex thinking in the building that I had met. There probably were complex thinkers there, but I did not meet anyone like that.
This is where Rain Dove proceeds to call all Trump supporters stupid. You guys are gonna see. I don't remember exactly where it happens, but like you're gonna see like there's a section of this video where Rain Dove is like, you know, they weren't wearing swastikas and they weren't wearing Nazi uniforms. They were just wearing really cheap sweaters like poor people. And I realized that these are just people that are forgotten by the system because they're dumb and they're not critical thinkers and they just wear cheap clothes. And I was like, oh. You guys are gonna see it. You're gonna love it.
I saw people who were very much like, not only were they super on board, they were hunting for people in the audience that weren't.
They
would like come up, not just to me, but actually I got off the hook because I made friends early for my own safety, right? But a lot of people that were stragglers, they come up and they grill them and ask them like really personal questions about Trump.
Cowboys, you're down there calling Kamala Homala, these Trumpers.
Homala, huh?
Homala.
Oh no!
Just for what? They're late because she slept with Montel Williams and then she slept with the senator, slept away from the top. And I was like, I was done the same thing, but I didn't say that.
Oh yeah, just go home. Take the high road. Take the high road.
I am.
Yeah.
I want to scream and holler. I was like, you know what, fuck you. Britney Spears 2028.
But alright, Britney Spears for president, okay.
Vice president.
I would love Beyonce as a vice president. Get home safely.
The other way around though, because Beyonce seems a little smarter.
Beyonce does seem quite intelligent.
Spicer said.
Oh yes.
Let's go to the beach. Take the K-boys with us.
Get home safe, man. See ya. What did you say?
I always said it's not a costume.
Oh no, it's not a costume. It's just a commitment to a hat.
Are you here for Donald Trump?
I was just here checking things out.
Yeah, me too. You're allowed to be there. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's true.
That's why I said 2028. That's 2024.
Yeah. No. Well, I prefer not to use that kind of language. But you have a good night, man. You have a good night. All right. Well, let me see what y'all are saying because I haven't read your comments yet. Okay. So some of the things you need to understand about me going undercover is I have to be very careful because people think I'm a trans woman, and when they find out that I might not be a man, that's what they assume and they freak the fuck out. And I can be hospitalized, I can be killed. I mean, people are very...
When they find out I'm not a man. Okay.
Intense. So please don't judge me for not slapping this person into the sun for saying Homala. It's not the hill that I want to die on. I want to live on the hill, and then I want to go write about what happened below the hill, and then I want to have a constructive dialogue about how we can tackle this system. Okay? All right, so let me see. Live reporting on the street, commuting to a hat. Yeah, I mean, okay, so I will talk a little bit more about this once I get into my safe, kind of quiet space now, because there are, look, it's so quiet now. Look at this. It's so quiet, but you just never know who you're surrounded by. People are quite intense and volatile right now. But I will say that I'm gonna go write my article immediately, and just while it's fresh in my brain. And I gotta tell you, the problem is much bigger than we think it is, and it is violent, and it wants us not to exist. I mean, really, people like screaming that they want us to die and supporting each other on that statement. I can't say if people are Nazis here because that's a very specific statement, but I will say that the people at this thing, they have a very, there were some people who really are just hardworking people, like I said, that feel very abandoned by the system, both Democratic and Republican, and they feel like Trump isn't a politician, he's a message. So, you know, let's think complexly. There are those people, okay? And because they feel that the queer community has not stood with them or really pushed their agendas a whole lot to protect them in their labor work, they feel they don't have to care about us. So they're like, oh, I'm sorry, you're getting picked on. I've been picked on all my life, okay? So there's those people. But I would say there is a large number, a terrifying large number of people who really, we have to be very, 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 we have to be very organized and we have to have a conversation about how we are going to prevent this kind of culture of violence and hatred from spreading, not just with
the culture of violence and hatred from the Trump rally. I don't know. I didn't watch the Trump rally, but I know a lot of you guys did. Was there a culture of violence and hatred that was being perpetuated by the Trump rally?
In their communities, but within our communities, we have to be careful because I didn't realize it until I was here. I had an idea, but I saw a room full of thousands of people who do not want me alive and do not want
a room of literally thousands of people who want Rain Dove dead. I just really find that very, very hard to believe. And again, just to be clear, for people who might be new to me, who might just be finding me from this, I'm not voting for Trump. I refuse. I'm not voting for Kamala Harris either. I refuse. I think they both suck, and I'm not voting for anyone. I am not voting. I've already made up my mind. No one can try to convince me of anything. I've made up my mind. Trump is beholden to Israel. He's a cuck to Israel. He sucks. I'm certainly not voting for Kamala. She sucks too. Everyone sucks. However, I don't think there were 10,000 people in Madison Square Garden that wanted Rain Dove dead because they're non-binary. Yeah, Offensive Saint doesn't want her. Offensive Saint wants to fuck they, them. You know, it's a bold choice, Offensive Saint. I appreciate it. However, how did they survive being around all those hateful people that want them dead?
Trans queer community survive. And they do not want immigrants in this country. They say they want them legally, but they really don't.
Shit. I fucking wish, Rain Dove. I fucking wish that Trump wanted no immigrants in this country. I wish. And I say that married to an immigrant. But my immigrant has a green card and has been here a really long time and is about to get his citizenship. So I'm a little bit less worried about that than I am about the green cards that Trump is going to staple to all college diplomas. I wish that Trump was as committed to no legal immigration as much as the left thinks he is. I wish.
I saw them disrespect Puerto Rico. I saw them disrespect brown people. And then I can't. I'm not even going to go off on it. I'll read a couple more comments and I'll head on in. I haven't been on Rain's profile in months. Yeah, I think one of the things that is difficult is in this particular situation, I think you have to be a particular kind of person to go to the Madison Square Garden rally. The person I sat next to got up at 2 a.m. from Michigan and got on a plane and flew here. So I do think I was meeting with people who are really, really passionate and really, really in the cause. I don't think it's a fair overall sample of the conservative parties in the United States. I just don't. I think I met the people who are the most invested, possibly. The people who are really at the hype. Because they spent hundreds or thousands of dollars, flew in, waited, overnight sleeping in sleeping bags on the ground in line. So they're pretty extreme perspectives. I do think the majority of people in the country probably are more centrist and probably partially left of center or right of center, because most people are really concerned with the things that affect them more locally. So they don't necessarily think of other people, but it's not because they don't like other people, it's just because other people aren't part of their life. You know, so many lonely people working alone. So that's true. Somebody says, if you think Rain is the only person speaking on this, you're under a rock. Oh wait, who's saying what? Which I don't see fit. Wait, what? They sound more like, wait, what's happening? I don't understand what are they saying? This cemetery person? Sorry, I don't quite understand. I see this kind of, why it could have been dangerous, yet it was not. Well, I think one of the things that I did experience is that, you know, people were very friendly to each other, and they felt, and I did see some queer people there. I saw specifically gay people. I didn't see any trans folks that were openly out in trans, but I did see some.
You saw gay people there, and it was fine. Oh, how interesting.
A couple of gay folks. I saw some people of other marginalized identities, and as long as they were wearing a MAGA hat or had a MAGA sign, they weren't really pressed too hard. And in fact, a lot of people were so excited to be like, yes, you're a part of our movement. See, like, you're a part of our movement. So that is true that was the thing, but you had to be kind of a part of the club, right? And unfortunately, people were screaming some pretty intense stuff. I have it on camera. I got it. I filmed my whole experience while I was there. I mean, not the entire thing, but a lot of it, because it was a very long experience. So that, my friend, unfortunately, can easily be proven by video.
Listen, offensive saint. Listen, I'm not responsible for all white women. All right? I never agreed to that.
It's just unfortunate. I mean, you got a large group of people, they're very angry, and they have 5 key issues that they're mad about. They're mad about immigrants, they're mad about transgender people, they're mad about the economy, they're like, we will end the wars, and they just don't like, quote unquote, the establishment, Kamala Harris and Biden. So these are the 5 themes that kept on reoccurring all throughout the night. Every speaker had the same 5 notes, and every speaker ended with the same way, thinking, you know, maybe it's a little novel, that they were going, what is he gonna do for you? Fight, 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 based off from Donald Trump's yell, fight, 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 after he got clipped in the ear by an assassination attempt. Oh, well, I think that, first of all, I feel that the situation I was in, I was safe because of the way that I conducted myself and the way that I treated the people around me. However, coming out of the venue was probably more dangerous.
2 ladies with the 5 gifted memberships. Let's see. Tom J got 1, Auto Hoax got 1, Adrian got 1, Prima got 1, and Lavender Mama got 1. Congratulations to everyone who got a gifted membership. And thank you, 2 ladies, for supporting the channel. I do appreciate it. Guys, if you want to send in a super chat to support the channel, they are more than welcome. If you want to send in some gifted memberships, that's cool too. The best thing you can do is subscribe to my Substack. That is Carlyn, KARLYN.substack.com. $8 a month, $80 a year. You guys keep me in business. My only job is to show you the receipts and to tell you what's going on. And so you guys can keep me in business by doing that, or pick up some epic merch in the Unwoke Art merch store. I do appreciate it. Links in the description below.
Going in and coming out, because people are very on high alert, very aggressive, very confrontational. Whether you like it or not, I'm really sorry, friend, but that's my experience. And as you saw live on here, people even just stopping me in the street and being like, wanting me to get on the joke of calling Kamala Homala because she's slept with all these people. If I don't get in on that joke, this person, first of all, was not sober, so I don't know if that counts. Also, they were very, I mean, like, I can't explain it. You're just not gonna understand it unless you are in my shoes. But there is a thing that happens in people's eyes, and I've experienced enough violence in my life to know when somebody's going to switch on me. And I did see people being quite handsy with other folks while we were there. Early on, because there were some people who really got too vocal too soon, and they were ripped out of that event, and they were not treated very kindly by the people around them. Now, a lot of the people at this event called it an event of joy. You know, they're trying to reclaim Kamala Harris's slogan. And in fact, while I was in line, somebody started talking about Palestine, and this person turned around and said, you need to shut up right now. Today is a day of joy, and I will not talk about it. And she's like,
can we just admit that that's absolutely something a conservative woman would do? If like someone brings up a topic they don't want to talk about at an event like this, there's absolutely a conservative would be like, no, we are not talking about that. Like you could absolutely, I absolutely believe that happened. I 100% believe that happened.
we only talk about joy. We talk about all the good. And I was like, damn, okay, there, day of joy. I mean, I wasn't the Palestine person talking about Palestine, but another person was. So I don't know. There were so many people there. Everyone had a different reason for why they thought they were there. And everyone felt that they were there for really peaceful reasons. They really feel that they're going to make the country better. They really don't like trans people. Some people are indifferent to trans folks, but they prefer their own needs and agenda over trans folks. And I don't know. I'm still decompressing, so I think it may be unfair to have me do a complete debrief of my experience and thoughts at the moment until I really can sit and put it in paper and reflect on it, because it just kind of happened to me. So there's that. Rain, the person was here for your previous explanation. They were a little busy making odd comments to listen. Oh, okay. So it says, how am I able to do this? So I still don't understand how anyone who's self-respecting woman gave. Well, I think one of the difficult things in this particular environment is that, you know, I think this is a product, in my opinion, if you want my opinion, pretend we're having a drink together, we're having a conversation. I think this is a product of a binary political system where people feel they only have 2 options. And a lot of the people there don't feel catered to by Kamala. And a lot of people who are very pro-Palestine, I didn't see a lot. Okay, I saw maybe like 10 or 20 people, all right, overall. But I saw people there that were pro-Palestine, okay? And they were like, because Trump says he's going to bring peace to the Middle East, right? And then while they were there, it was
vehemently pro-Israel.
Who was it? Maybe it was Rudy Giuliani or maybe it wasn't Rudy Giuliani. Yeah, I think it's Rudy Giuliani, who basically just was like, all them Palestinians want to kill you. They're bred from 2 years old to kill you. Like, we got to get them first. And I was like, the party that also supports genocidal action, killing people at the age of 2.
Hey, listen, I'm going to be really blunt, Tracy. I agree with Rain Dove on this point. It is disgusting to me how Republicans speak about the Palestinians. It is disgusting to me that so many big-time Republican politicians openly advocate for killing Palestinian children because we need to get them first. It is disgusting. And Trump is absolutely going to get us into a war with Iran on behalf of Israel. And that's one of the reasons I'm not voting for him. And I think that the Republican Party is so cucked to Israel. It's fucking gross. And I never trust any of them again. We are bought and owned by a foreign fucking power. They are not America first. And quite frankly, comparing them to America first people should be insulting to everyone who actually does put America ahead of Israel, so far as I'm concerned. So I agree with Rain Dove on this point.
Because they're quote-unquote bred to kill Americans. And at that point, I didn't see a lot, but I did see a couple of people leave who were there, and they were very pro-Palestine. They had gone there thinking that Trump would be a better alternative to Harris regarding Gaza, and that was like, it was so clear because they were right below me, and I just watched them march out, and they weren't chanting or making a fuss, but they were very clearly upset. So, I think a lot of people just feel like they don't have a lot of options, and that whatever option they choose, they have to defend it. And, the people that are there, I can't explain it, but some people there really are like, Trump is the president of peace. He's the president of really joy. He just wants common sense laws. And I'm like, sometimes I'm like, lady, it was once common sense for the sun to revolve around the earth. Okay? I mean, common sense changes as our knowledge of the world changes, and we get to know each other, and we get to know, science, facts, reality. We get to do experiments to see what we're actually existing within. So there's that. Okay, what do we have to say? Trump clearly stated that Bibi needs to get it over with. Yes, it's true. I don't like either candidate really, but I do think that strategically, if you live in a swing state, you should vote how you want to. I'm not going to tell you how to vote, but if it were me, I probably would consider, I'm not saying I would, but I would probably consider voting for Harris, because I think that she is a better alternative to Trump in the case of getting specifically aid into Gaza, Palestine. If I'm not living in a swing state, which I don't, I live in a very majority state, I feel very comfortable voting third party for me personally. Now, I can't tell you how to vote, and I won't tell you how to vote. And
are you telling me that the non-binary queer activist is not voting for Kamala Harris? Are really? Because I keep hearing over and over and over again that all of these people are voting for Kamala Harris, and it just seems to me like we end up seeing an awful lot of these people saying, I'm not voting for Kamala Harris, I don't like her, I think she sucks. Yet again, it's almost like every single conservative pundit who tells you that Kamala Harris is a communist is lying. It's almost like they don't like her. It's almost like conservatives are full of shit.
I'm not endorsing any candidate, and I really am not pleased with any of my options, so none of them get a shiny thumbs up from me. But I will tell you, one person gets a very shiny thumbs down, which is unfortunately Trump. Unfortunately for him. Let me see. What do we have here? So glad not to live in a swing state. No, if you live in a swing state, I don't envy your position. You're basically choosing whether or not Palestine gets aid or not. And in your choice to prevent them from losing aid, you may also be voting for another person to continue supporting Netanyahu unabashedly. And so your choices are bad, and I'm sorry. It's a really shit situation. But Palestine, while a huge issue, is not the only issue on the ballot. And when you're talking about numbers of people, it's unfortunate, but there's a lot of people's lives at risk right now because of this election. Let me see. Okay, my idea is that Kamala would be the best step to better option for the future. Some people really do feel that way. I also tell people it's not just a president who's in power, right? There's a whole system of checks and balances. You know, your vote for your senator, your congressperson, and your state level officials are very, very important because these systems keep people in check. So, you know, you can also look at other options for those too, like try a third party for Congress. Why not, if you can? I mean, if there's somebody viable, let a third party prove that it can do its thing if you feel so compelled. But, you know, don't be disillusioned and just think, oh, it's just presidential that, you know, that we're voting on. We're actually voting on a much larger system. All right. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna go through here. So anyone who's on here, basically, I'm gonna go into my hotel room here in just a second. But I just want to say, like, you know, I just came out of the Trump rally. I went there kind of undercover, assumed male, as a person who has a they them pronoun situation, who's been targeted strategically, incessantly, with millions of dollars of advertising. Kamala Harris is for they them. Donald Trump is for you. I went to go meet the they them who feel that way about me, who's okay with that kind of advertising, and I'm writing an article about it. And I don't know. I mean, I hope that, like I said, the article does do justice. I want to acknowledge that I have a big privilege to be able to go into these environments and look the way that I do, and be a lot safer than other folks might be. I would say a lot of the people really believe themselves to be good people. I actually didn't see a lot of people wearing swastikas or neo-Nazi things. I didn't see people with face masks, balaclavas, and Proud Boys that were very obviously Proud Boys by their presentation. I saw a lot of people wearing cheap sweatshirts and hats, and, you know, like people coming from, you know, working class lives. And I really don't like the way that they see me as a person when they get to know my identity. I don't love that. But I see a lot of people who really believe that they are good and accepting people. And the interesting thing is, a lot of people are like, hey, you know, I may not agree with you, but, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I'm still going to be here to help. That's what a lot of people say. I may not agree with you, but... And a lot of people really believe that, like, if push came to shove, of course, they're going to be a peaceful, kind, and gentle person. But I did see a lot of instances where people didn't get along politically in that environment, and it became very volatile very quickly. And that was really scary to see. I can't guarantee that wouldn't happen at a Harris rally, to be honest. If you're in a political environment, that you're in a political tinderbox, so that might happen. But I will say, like, it felt like I was with a bunch of folks that really thought they were good people, but really had, like, I can't explain, there's a disconnect between them and what the politicians were saying. And there were some things that the politicians were saying that were so powder keggy, and they would either just glaze or look away. I'll show you on my stories, there were people, they had, to keep people entertained, they had little video screens upstairs, and you could watch the football games and things like that. So there were people watching the football games while people were speaking, like absolutely just tuned out. So it's so weird. It's like they weren't really like thinking or listening comprehensively to what people were saying. And some people were like very on board for some people are just so on board for some of the more volatile things that were said. Like the Puerto Rico garbage joke should not have been told. They're like, this one guy is like, there's a floating trash heap in the ocean. It's called Puerto Rico.
You know, I mean, I agree. That Puerto Rican garbage joke shouldn't have been told. They really should have told it about Haiti. That was a missed opportunity. I mean, for real though. Like, listen, man, like, you've been talking about Haitian immigrants coming to the United States and eating dogs and cats for months, and then you throw out there's a heaping pile of garbage floating in the middle of the sea, and you say it's Puerto Rico and not Haiti? I have been to San Juan, and I liked San Juan. San Juan had a lot of cats running around in it. I didn't find San Juan to be dirty. I really did. I mean, now listen, I haven't been to San Juan in a long time. Maybe things have changed, but like, when I was in San Juan, I didn't find it to be dirty. I'm fairly certain if I went to Haiti, I would not want to leave my car. There's a missed opportunity is all I'm saying.
And everyone was like, ha, 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 ha. And I was like, not funny. Not funny at all, you know? And they made a joke about immigrants, the raping people, saying, oh, they come in our citizens the way they come into our country. And I was like, I'm not even kidding. You can watch it. It's a stand-up comic named Tony. Watch his thing. He says these immigrants come in our people the way they come into our country. And I was like, holy shit. Is no one questioning this? It was weird. I was just like, no one. I mean, I don't know. I'm angry. I'm a little bit angry, but I'm also like, it makes me sad because I can see that there are a lot of people who really want to be good people, who really do believe that they're good people, tolerant people, kind people, and they probably are, but they're not like, they're bandwagon people. They're not critically thinking people. They're just like, people. This is just an easy fit person. They're not questioning the little things that add up to a big deal, like some of the racist stuff. And it just is so disappointing to see. Because you know what's kind of weird is like I could feel real warmth coming from some of the people I was around. People are next. This
is the cognitive dissonance I was talking about earlier. Like them goes back and forth throughout this entire video. They're like, but they were really nice, and they thought that they were being nice people, and they were nice to me, and they said even if we politically disagree, I'm still gonna be nice to you. But then they wanted to kill me. But then they were really nice. But then they wanted to kill me. But then they were really nice. But then they were kind of dumb and kind of simple and kind of poor. But then they were really. It's just like you can see this person going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And like really reaching for like, you know, no one said they wanted to kill me, but you could just tell that by the look in their eye that they. I'm just like I think that Rain Dove is being authentic to what they experienced, but I think their experience was at least partially informed by them psyching themselves up in their own head about who Trump supporters were and like really anticipating that they were going to be hated.
Next to me, they're a married couple, 39 years. They're holding hands the entire time and telling each other that they love each other. And, you know, this woman was disabled, and I was like, do you want to sit on the outside? And she said, oh, yeah, sweetheart, thank you. The guy next to me, her husband, shared a pack of Twizzlers. I took photos. He shared a pack of Twizzlers with me. He's like, oh, have some Twizzlers. I got too many, oh, man. And when I went to go get water, I was like, can I refill your water bottles? I refilled their water bottles, and they didn't think I was going to put anything in it, which I didn't, I swear. But there was real warmth. That's what's confusing about it. There's real warmth coming from the people around me. But then once Trump gets talking, they're like, yes, exactly, yeah. Fucking YMCA is playing in the background, and that song's gonna haunt me for the rest of my days. Anyway, yeah, all right. Somebody says they're the most politically uneducated. You know what's interesting about Trump supporters? They are not necessarily politically uneducated. I think their political education is their lived experience. And one of the difficult things is that poverty is something that connects more people in the struggle than any other struggle, really. And that intersectionality of poverty, people have felt, especially in these working class environments, so abandoned. And they are so angry about it. and they see all these special programs and special movements and pride events and stuff, and they say, oh, that's where all the money's going to, but what about me? And they feel abandoned. And I think their political education is just like, they will follow whoever promises to fix their shit. And they have listened to people in all directions, and nobody has fixed their shit, because the shit that they have to have fixed is systemic, and it's bigger than any party can really fix. It's capitalism.
Yeah!
You know, it's exploitation. People are angry about it.
There it is! There it is! There it is! It's capitalism! It's capitalism! It's capitalism! Don't tell me these people never say capitalism. Don't tell me. We're going to listen to that again. This adds to my own experiences seeing how queer activists don't trust anyone who isn't queer. They don't trust regular gay and bi people either. It's sad. I agree, Rottweiler. I agree. Thank you. Hey, thanks for the member chat, Alex. It's capitalism, James! It's always capitalism. We're going to go rewind and listen to that part again. But this is like Rain Dove saying, you know, these are just simple people and their experience is based on their lived experience. And you know what? You know what their real problem is they're struggling and they feel like no one cares about them. And they feel like, you know, all these other people are getting the resources that they want. And their problem is systemic. Of course, we know when they say systemic, they mean capitalism. And then they just flat out say it. Their problem is capitalism, guys. It's capitalism. If we just get rid of capitalism, everything will be fixed. Let's just listen to that part again.
And special movements and pride events and stuff, and they say, oh, that's where all the money's going to, but what about me? And they feel abandoned. And I think their political education is just like, they will follow whoever promises to fix their shit. And they have listened to people in all directions, and nobody has fixed their shit, because the shit that they have to have fixed is systemic, and it's bigger than any party can really fix. It's capitalism. You know, it's exploitation, and people are angry about it. And for better or for worse, they just feel like
the queer activists say capitalism when James Lindsay refuses. The actual queer activists know what's up. James Lindsay, who still doesn't know that queer is about abolishing capitalism, that the Mary Nardini Yang says queer liberation means the annihilation of capitalism. That's who the conservative right is listening to. And this is why we have the idiots talking about Gnosticism rather than actually listening to what the queer activists say, which is, guys, it's a systemic problem. It's all about capitalism. Every time. Yeah, where's the Gnosticism, James? Where is the Gnosticism?
They gotta have a different message, and it sucks because it's a message that comes at my expense, it comes at your expense, and it's gonna come at their expense. One of the most wild things to me about tonight, and there was a lot of wild things, but one thing that was super wild was they're like Kamala Harris has all these celebrities and big shot billionaires coming in to support her campaign, but we're the party of the people. Do you know tonight only one person of the people spoke? One. It was a person who Donald Trump's father paid the college tuition for 3 of his sons. Okay, so this is basically a bought and paid for endorsement. It's an average New Yorker whose kids were really smart. He couldn't afford to put them through college, and Donald Trump's father paid for them to go to school. And he told the story on stage. Every other person that spoke, which I found quite ironic, was a millionaire politician. And he brought out, you want to talk about celebrities? He brought out Elon Musk. He brought out Dr. Phil. He brought out Hulk Hogan, the fucking Hulk, okay? The Hulk's out there being like, you gotta change the world! Like, make America great again! Yeah!
Come on, everyone loves Hulk Hogan. You cannot not love Hulk Hogan. Come on. But you know, this is actually a fair point, and this is actually a criticism that I have of Trump too. I don't give a flying flip what Dr. Phil has to say. I don't give a flying flip what, all the conservative shills have to say. I don't care. I know you're supposed to bring big names to a rally, but I would actually much rather hear from normal people than I would like the same old political people over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Like, I don't trust any of them. But I think this is actually a fair criticism. But everyone loves Hulk Hogan, and that's just the way it is.
America! And I was like, okay, so you're accusing Kamala Harris's party of utilizing celebrity endorsements and billionaire endorsements, and you're only bringing to Madison Square Gardens celebrity endorsements and literal billionaire endorsements.
True.
I do not understand how people in the audience who pride themselves, the problem is that the whole community was like, we are a party of like free thinkers, right? So they're all like, we're free thinkers, we just think differently, we don't care if we're popular, damn, you can hate us all you want, I think the way that I think and I don't let anyone tell me what to do. And I'm like, you may be a free thinker, but your free thinking, I don't know, it's not very leveled or structured. It's not critical thinking, it's just free thinking. It's just kind of free roaming about. But there wasn't any like, hey, this doesn't make sense, or hey, this is very fucking dangerous, or, like, this person next to me, I started talking about like Trump's, I just tested a little bit. I was like, one of the things about Trump that worries me a little bit, this is the way I put it, I say, concerns me. I have to be very careful with sometimes. One thing that concerns me about Trump, I said to this person next to me, was like, he's so off the cuff and he can just say these things that are so inflammatory, and for me, it just feels really unsafe to have someone like that represent, because, you want someone to have some kind of professionalism. And this person tensed up like the smallest
Jennifer, stop spamming my chat. I don't care about your fucking election updates. Stop spamming my chat. Only things that are relevant to what we're watching. If you keep doing it, I'm going to put you in timeout. And if you keep doing it after that, I'm going to ban you.
Criticism about the most obvious thing. Very, very tense. Like, she was just like, wow, it's much better than people who say what you think. I trust him a lot more because he does say things like that. Because he does deck it. And I was like, I don't know. I think he's very blatantly saying kind of weird things about people's genitals and like stuff.
What do you say about people's genitals?
If that's who he is, you're saying that he's saying it like she says he's saying it like it is. He just says it like it is. He just is who he is on his sleeve. I'm like, then he's a guy who just talks about genitals? I mean, if that's who he is on his sleeve, right?
It's like again, like Rain Dove is pretending that literally all Trump talked about were people's genitals. And again, I didn't watch the rally in Madison Square Garden because I don't care about hearing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. But like, I've seen enough Trump speeches, and I've personally been to enough Trump rallies to know that there is no way in this universe that Trump spent the entire speech talking about people's genitals. So can we please hinge back into reality? This is like as unhinged as something I would hear on the conservative right.
Are you sure? Are you sure? I couldn't press too much because it was dangerous, but And when I say dangerous, like, I want people to understand that, like, relatively throughout this experience, as controversial as it was, because of the way I presented and because of the way I treated people around me, I was actually not in danger. As long as I didn't, like, say anything too critical about Trump, start a protest, throw a shoe, or just reveal that, like, my identity in that space, because
everyone
it wasn't safe for other folks when they did that.
Everyone knew your identity, Rain Dove. Everyone knew. You're not passing as a man. I'm sorry. We respect your ability to be a they, them, but we're going to be honest about this. Everyone knew you were not a man.
I was pretty safe. And that's because I have this kind of like privilege, and I also have like a bit of prior experience with this community. But when I talk about like things being kind of dangerous,
newsflash,
I just mean they can get very confrontational very quickly.
No one cares.
People are very sensitive. I think also one of the difficult things for these people is that they feel trauma bonded, very trauma bonded.
That's true.
And
actually.
they feel demonized for even considering Trump. And the more people like shit on them for Trump thing, the more they think the more they trauma bond with each other. It's hard to explain. So they really feel like the more we say this person doesn't care about you, they kind of go into like, they kind of are like, you can't tell me what to do, mom. And they feel very malaligned. And the thing is, I think, like I said, a lot of these people really believe.
That is very true. And that honestly has been my experience with most normie Trump supporters too, where like, they do get, they like, if you express an opinion that is not their opinion, they oftentimes, and I'm not speaking to anyone individually in the chat, I'm just saying, like, this is my general experience with a lot of, like, normie Trump supporters. If you express, like, if I say, I'm not voting for Trump because I'm not going to vote for someone that is sucking Benjamin Netanyahu's cock, like, I'm just not going to do it. It's just, like, it's a boundary. And, but if I say something like that, like, normie Trump supporters are going to feel, like, personally attacked and be like, well, you might be a liberal, but I am not. And I'm going to get a whole fucking rant about how Trump is the greatest and Trump is the best and Trump is, and I'm like, you know what? You're allowed to do whatever you want. I really don't care. But then they go into attack mode and they start calling me a liberal. They start calling me a leftist. They start calling me a communist. And I'm like, bro, I literally create more anti-communist content than almost anyone else on the internet. And you're going to call me a communist because I don't want to vote for Trump, who is cucked to Israel. Like, that is unhinged as well. That is unhinged Trump supporter. That is just as unhinged as the queer activist. Conservatives, I think, are more emotional than liberals. I really do. Conservatives are more emotional than liberals.
That they're good people, and in a weird way, a lot of people probably are very good people. They're
very kind.
Some of them are really not good people, and they're also, I'm like, how good is somebody if they're still willing to go along without questioning, without even putting a bookmark in it? Exclusionary or divisive ideals. You know, I'm not 100% sure that totally makes you a safe person or a good person, you know. Somebody says, I feel like it's a bit of fawning and wanting to be a part of a group by not shaking the boat for something they see as a small joke. Yeah, I think one of the interesting things in this environment is you do not have room to disagree. A lot of people, there's a lot of people. I cannot explain to you what it's like to be surrounded by 10,000 or more people who all have this thought, and they're screaming at the top of their lungs about how they feel. But it's very, very clear that in that environment you didn't really have room to say boo or I disagree or what about this, or even whisper to your neighbor, because it could turn into a very confrontational space. It's like if you had any issues with anything he said, you kind of have to say it in private. When people were texting and stuff, they were even like covering their phone, like people, it was very strange. But I just feel like in that environment, it didn't feel like a safe environment to criticize. And people, anytime anyone brought up anything negative, people just kept on bringing it back to, no, we're having fun here. This is a joy thing. Don't talk about it. It's off limits.
It was supposed to be fun. It's a rally.
Oh, thanks. I am glad to have that one safe too. Giuliani was ordered this week to give everything he has, even his car, to those 2 women poll workers they abused. Yeah. It was, you know what's wild is I have never really listened to Rudy Giuliani speak. I listened to him speak and I understand why so many people are captivated by him. He was funny, he was very articulate, he was very smart, and he was a very big showboat. And I did not expect that. I thought he would be a little bit more frail, to be honest. I kind of seen him bumbling around and in interviews, and he was very good, and I could see how somebody would listen to him and really just be like enamored by him. If he hadn't have said so many intense things about immigrants, because some people, even when people are saying things that are hateful, like I said, a lot of people are just glazed. They just stayed silent. Nobody booed, you know.
They should have booed. Trump is not strong enough on immigration.
In bossing-y behavior, if anyone knows what I mean. Oh.
They should have.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. I'm totally fine. Somebody says, did not any of them realize how little good things he did his first presidency? I think a lot of people feel nobody really got to experience the Trump presidency because of COVID. And to be honest, that's probably pretty true. I mean, COVID threw a wild wrench in which we couldn't really have a normal life even if we wanted to. We wouldn't even know what a Biden or a Harris presidency or a Clinton presidency was. we wouldn't have known that really under COVID. We'd have some kind of idea, but I feel like COVID was a very bad gauge. So a lot of the people who do support Trump are like, yeah, but it was, he had a wrench thrown in. I never really got to see what it was like. And I think a lot of people are having FOMO because they feel like they were robbed of reality. They want to see what it really would have been like. And
well, it's not just that. It wasn't just COVID. It was that Trump never, like, okay. So I'm explaining this in case maybe Rain Dove watches this at some point, or maybe someone in their community watches it, and they want. It wasn't just COVID. And again, I say this: I did not vote for Trump in 2016 because I was a Democrat then, and I cried when he got elected. I was really upset about it. I did vote for him in 2020. I am not voting for him again because now he is cucked to Israel and he sucks. If Trump was the same Trump now that he was in 2016, I'd vote for him, no problem. He's not, though. That's a different story. But I do understand Trump supporters enough to understand what their perspective is on this. So it's not just that COVID fucked up his presidency. It's that Trump was under nonstop attack from the media who depicted him unfairly from the moment that he took office. There's extensive documentation of like clips that they took out of context, like the Very Fine People hoax, for example. When they say Trump said there were very fine people on both sides, he was saying that neo-Nazis were very fine people. No, Trump wasn't saying that. Trump in the very next sentence explicitly called out the neo-Nazis in Charlottesville and said, I'm not talking about them. I am talking about normal people. The very same people that Rain Dove was around at that Trump rally. But no, did the media play that part? No, they completely left that out and they took it out of context and they said, Trump saying neo-Nazis are very fine people. No, he didn't. I may have a lot of issues with Trump, but like he does not support that overtly. And it's like it was just thing after thing after thing after thing after thing. And it was the nonstop censorship and like cancellation of people with conservative ideas that happened the entire and it didn't just happen to Trump. It happened to normal people who got their posts censored on Facebook and Twitter, got their accounts censored, got their accounts banned for just talking about their political beliefs when they weren't even being hateful at all. And it was just like 4 nonstop years of this ever escalating bullshit. And at the same time, you've got Antifa literally starting riots, literally burning shit down. It wasn't just COVID in 2020, it was also the Black Lives Matter riots, and this is separate from whether or not you think black people should be treated fairly. I quite frankly think it was incredibly racist for Black Lives Matter to torch black-owned businesses in Minneapolis and cause $2 billion worth of property damage. And of course, that was all allowed. Well, everyone was on lockdown. Well, no one could work, but people were allowed to go out and protest and riot and create the Chaz in Seattle by commandeering several city blocks. I mean, it was just thing after thing after thing after thing after thing after thing. It was not just COVID. It was a lot of things that added up to people being really pissed off. And I'm sorry, the outcome of the 2020 election when Trump was winning, when everyone went to bed, and then all of a sudden around 4 a.m., Biden's votes go like this. That also pissed a lot of people off. So that's why. It wasn't just COVID. There were extenuating circumstances that were working their way up for years. Hey, Dragon Balls, thank you for the 20. I hope you're enjoying your vacation, Dragon Balls. It looks amazing. The con politicians need to realize that when the system continues to fail, everyday folks, they will turn to anything because all ills are blamed on capitalism. Trump supporters today could be ill-informed socialists tomorrow. Yo, that's true. That is 100% true. And of course, they're not going to take it seriously because no one is taking that the left is targeting capitalism seriously. They just think, oh, yeah, of course they are, whatever. The right doesn't take the left seriously at all on this issue. But you're absolutely right. Listen, man, look up Fred Hampton and the Rainbow Coalition. This was a thing where the Black Panthers in the 70s, it was either the late 60s or the 70s, I forget. But look up Fred Hampton and the Rainbow Coalition. This is when the Black Panthers in Chicago teamed up with the KKK because they both decided that on some things they were on the same team. They might not like each other, but on some things they're on the same team, and their enemy was the establishment. don't think that Trump supporters can't get sucked into this anti-capitalist sentiment that people like, I mean, I don't think Rain Dove does this a lot, but I think a lot of people who are queer do. Like, don't think that Trump supporters can't get sucked into this anti-capitalist ideology, because they can, and they probably will. And that's a really good point, Dragon Balls. I appreciate it.
You have to keep in mind that during COVID, while a lot of people were discarded and a lot of people were not treated well, they still managed to pass those $2,500 a month, that $600 a week checks.
Oh, you're right.
For the unemployed.
68.
And they still managed to do
right.
a lot of social support things that weren't perfect, but they did exist. So some people who, especially people working 40 hours a week, paycheck to paycheck, during COVID was the first time they'd ever had really off in their life in a long time, and they felt financially supported, and they affiliate that to Donald Trump. They're like, oh man, I got like 6 months off, paid. I was paid better than I was paid in my job. And people are like, Trump did that for me. They don't really look at the whole Congress, Senate, the whole system that happened. And they're like, it's very hard. It's very hard for them to understand, you know, it's just a thing. I don't know. He was president for 3 years before COVID hit. Well, I think that he was I think it was less than that, wasn't it?
No.
When was the election? It was the 2020 election, right? But he was there in 2016 to 2020. So during that, yeah. So he was there. Yeah, you're right. He was there for only like a year of COVID. But a lot of people referenced COVID and his handling of COVID as a reason why they felt he would be a good president. A lot of people, I'm not even kidding you, you can even just create an anonymous account and go ask yourself, a lot of people say that Trump was robbed because of COVID. So that's very true. That's a good fact check, but also that's what people were telling me, like that's how they felt. So can't really control the weather on that one. Oh, speaking of which, okay, then I'm gonna go, I swear to God. I met a person who was like really intense, and her name was literally Karen, but she was so nice. I was going, and she's like, I'm gonna hold on to you, and she just walked up to me and just grabbed me. She's like, you gotta go into the Trump rally because you're wearing a cowboy hat. I'm like, yes I am. I didn't know this woman at all. And she's like, well, take me, cowboy, to the rally. So I took her to the entry gate and everything, and this woman talked to me for like an hour when we first started. And she's a teacher in New Jersey, and she talked about, like, she's very passionate about weather warfare, and she was just like really into describing exactly how
she met a QAnon
different countries control the weather and do
mom.
warfare against their own civilians and against each other by like sending hurricanes. And she says that there are these like hurricane battles that are currently occurring. And I was actually a little bit like blown away by that as like a statement, just because she was so passionate and in depth about it. And you know, I'm always interested to hear people's like conspiracy theories and things like this, but she was just like, she literally grabbed me. I have it on voice record, right? She literally grabbed me. She goes, you know, I'm not going to let you go until you look me in the eyes and you tell me, you know, weather warfare is real. And I was like,
it's absolutely
okay.
Something they would do. Yeah.
I feel you. I said, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. But she was so, when she was there, she's like, I'm not here for any of the other stuff. I'm not here for the immigrants, the gay stuff, or the abortion stuff. She's like, I'm here for weather warfare. Because Trump is going to be the only person who stops the weather warfare. And I was like, damn. Very passionate. Like, I felt like I was meeting someone in a movie a little bit. They were very like it was so desperate and so based in their reality and how they felt. I can't explain it. They were just like, it really felt like they were trying to save me and warn me. And in a weird way, when I meet people like this, I feel like, I'm like, thank you so much for saving me from this thing that you're really scared of. It actually means a lot that you're educating me and taking the time on it. Another part of me is like, I don't necessarily...
Oh, hey, I want to thank you for confirming yet again that Trump is a fucking Democrat. Trump is a Democrat, guys. Do you understand that? Do you understand that if you loathe the Democratic Party, Trump is a Democrat? I love it when Trump supporters come into my chat and they're like, Carlin, you know, Trump is basically a moderate Democrat. And I'm like, keep giving me more reasons not to vote for him, bro. Keep reinforcing that decision. Because I left the Democratic Party for a reason, and it wasn't to vote for a fucking Democrat pretending to be a Republican. I'll tell you that right now. Keep telling people, it's like, Carlin, why don't you want to vote for Trump? I'm further right than Trump is by like a mile and a fucking half. Telling me that Trump is a Democrat is not going to get me to vote for him. Telling me that Trump is working with RFK and Tulsi fucking Gabbard is not going to get me to vote for him. Not in any way. In fact, it's going to reinforce my decision not to vote for him. Thank you.
Really agree with all the things that were presented. But, I mean, I have to pick, do I debate this person? Do I just let this person talk? And I figured, oh, I'm in line. We're not going anywhere. We're packed. We have to wait for hours outside of this thing to get in. So I let her talk and I listened, and she just wanted to be heard, but her passion, she was like, this is what I'm talking about, people thinking that they're being like, I'm a good person, right? Like, she was like, I am going to save your life. I'm going to save all of their lives. I'm going to save civilization. So in this woman's mind, she's a hero. She cares about me even though she doesn't know who I am. She's putting it all on the line. And she's also voting Donald Trump. And it's very, it's difficult to unpack all the layers to it. Because in one sense you're like, thank you for caring. In another sense you're like, oh, damn, some of your opinions are really a little scary to me. And I don't agree with them. And I worry about you actually a little bit. But my base thing that I walked away from this woman was like, she just wants me to not be a victim of weather warfare. So I just let it go. But that really struck me because it was like, it's like I met somebody in the desert who was thirsty for water and had survived a battle, you know? Yeah, somebody said shattering their reality worldview is counterproductive sometimes. Yeah, it is. And sometimes, you know what? Sometimes I don't know. I'm not going to go repeat any of the things that they said because I don't believe them. But, like, who am I to, like, shit on them to their face? Sometimes people just have their thing, you know? Like, some people, like with religion and stuff, I don't agree with all people's religious perspectives. But who am I to tell them that, you know, what I think is going to happen to them in their afterlife? I don't know. Sometimes I don't feel like it's important to do that and just let them have their perspective of what they think will happen to them in the afterlife, because it's their perspective, you know? Bad people can do good things and good people can do bad things. Yes, this is very true. Oh, thank you. I'm not sure if you heard before, but your attitude's so Buddhist, Rain. Ah, that's very sweet. I have not heard that before. Okay, I'm gonna go get something to eat, and I'm gonna go decompress, and I'm gonna go stare at something. I also have to change because I bled through my pants. I couldn't believe it. I started and fucking period balls there. I was like, you cannot make this up. I am here presenting as male, and here I am bleeding in my white pants, by the way. I'm wearing white fucking pants. Excuse my language. I could not believe it. I was like, I'm like, oh man. Now I gotta take off my shirt, wrap it around my pants so people can't see that. But now that I have the shirt off, all these layers, you know, gonna create possibly some curves. And I got really worried, but actually more people were just concerned about shuffling out, so it was fine. I love you all very much. I hope you can understand why I went there tonight and why I'm writing this article. And the important thing is that, look, the important thing I took away from this is that, you know, the majority of those people there, it's scary that there were so many. I'm not gonna lie, that really scared me. It tells me that we are up against something really fucking big as far as our safety and our rights go. But I will tell you that the majority of people there, I feel that while I really disapprove of their candidate choice and I really dislike the way that they just dismissed not just mine but other marginalized people's rights, the majority of people there want to see themselves as a good person. They want to see themselves as having lived a loving life. There are so many things about love and care. And while they may not necessarily be doing it in a way that feels very loving, the point of it is that their intention, although I don't want to agree with the execution of it, their intention is to love. And that is a place we can work from. If their intention tonight was to hate, if they were going there being like, I am just a hateful person, that's who I am, and I hate you. That's a very difficult place to work with as far as conflict resolution goes, as far as finding community solutions. It's so hard to work with someone who sees themselves already as a bad person. When you have people who see themselves as a good person, it's much easier to work towards, because if what you're representing is good and it is loving, then you have a chance to really introduce them to the thing they've been looking for all their life. And so for me, I feel like there's still hope. I feel like there's still something good. I feel like there's still something worth, I still believe there's still something worth fighting for. And I believe that with the right kinds of communication in multiple ways of approaching this kind of community, I think we can fix this issue. And I think that maybe we can steer some of these people in a direction that's safer, not just for ourselves, but also for themselves. And I also think there's a value to really taking the time to be like, why are farmers in America pissed? You know, why are they pissed? And I think it couldn't hurt for us to advocate for other people outside of ourselves who are living in poverty. You know, we should look at farmers. We should look at people who are doing these trucking jobs. We should look at people who are living these working class lives, and we should incorporate them into our own activism and our own work and make sure that we're saying we care about them.
And this is why I do actually appreciate Rain Dove, and why I really don't want to shit on they, them, and I don't want anyone in my chat, or like, I hope people in the comments don't shit on them. Like, because, you know, Rain Dove is doing something here that conservatives, quite frankly, don't do, for the most part. They're saying, you know what? Listen, there are people that are struggling on that side, and there's reasons why they believe what they do. And, you know, maybe we should be a little kinder to them. Maybe we should do outreach to them. Maybe, and this is part of the problem, by the way, because when the left figures this out, they can do outreach to farmers. They can do outreach to truckers. They can do outreach to more blue-collar jobs, which right now, quite frankly, Trump has been taking for granted for a while. Conservatives don't organize. They don't do any of that. They refuse to do it on principle. But you got this person saying, you know what, maybe we can be a little bit more sensitive and accommodating to other people, and maybe they have some legitimate grievances, and maybe we have made it all about us, and maybe we haven't done a good job. Do you really think that conservatives are ever going to go, you know what, maybe people who feel out of place and abnormal in society, like queer people, maybe they have some legitimate concerns. And maybe we shouldn't be shitting on women all the time and threatening to repeal the 19th. And maybe we should actually just listen to other people and their concerns instead of demonizing them, calling them crazy, calling them a libtard, calling them a communist, like insulting them, calling them fat and ugly every step of the way. Maybe we should listen to people that we disagree with, and maybe they have some legitimate concerns. I mean, it's like, you know, if you're just running around and insulting people all the time that you disagree with, don't ever expect those people to come to your side. Don't expect those people to vote your way. One of the reasons I'm not voting for Trump is I've gotten so much more shit from the right over the past 4 years than I've ever gotten from the left. People might say that's a stupid reason not to vote for Trump. Well, you know what? I get to decide what I deem important. And I have received exponentially more shit from the right, even in the midst of creating more anti-communist content than like anyone on the internet. I receive exponentially more shit from the right than I do from the left. So fuck them.
Because I think that would do a lot of good. All right. If you look at old videos of Trump, you see very left-leaning views. Yes, this is true. How do you handle it when queer folks side with Trump? There are many of them. I can't tell people what to believe, and I can't control why people believe it. I try to figure out where the change happened, and I try to address that issue. But the hard thing is we just can't control people. We can try to understand how they grew the way they grew, and from that point on, we can try to tend to our garden in a way that's far more inviting and also dispels the myths that they have built up in their mind about us. If the myth is that we don't care, if the myth is that we hate them, if the myth is that, like, you know, I mean, there's a lot of myths. It's our job to understand where things have gone off the rails and to try to tend the garden, and it's their job to try to lean towards the sunlight. And if they can't do that, then that's what the second layer of activism is for: protesting, marching, educating, community action. For me, I do a lot of community service, you know, feeding, housing. I do go to this war zone evacuation work, and I serve as openly queer, because that's another layer of activism. It's dispelling the myth that we don't care, that we don't show up, or that we're not useful, you know? That's it. All right. I love you very much. Oh, you're so loved too. And I hope you are all safe tonight. And if you aren't, then please don't be alone. Find people in my comments on my page. This community is filled with people who can love you and will love you and do love you. And be safe tonight, all right? And if anyone says that they saw me at a Trump rally and they think I'm a Trumpist, you tell them I am not. But I did go and do my little journalism thing. Let's see. Somebody says, yes, perfect. All right, I love you. Bye.
All right, guys, that is the end of the video. And again, if you missed it, that was a queer influencer that goes by Rain Dove. Here, I'll show you their Instagram in a second, if it can pull it up again, just so everyone knows who we just watched. And them went undercover at the Trump rally at Madison Square Garden. That was just like a debrief of their thoughts around it. I recorded that on my phone last night, literally as it was happening. And I thought that was honestly interesting to get that sort of perspective. And I thought it was interesting to see the cognitive dissonance. And I thought it was interesting to see how it was handled. And I don't know if anyone has any final thoughts, please feel free to put them in the chat. We do have to wrap up in a second because I have a supporter call in my community. But, I think this is part of understanding the cult of the left, because although I do appreciate Rain Dove, I actually really do. I think that Rain Dove is a calm person, a rational person. I think they do a lot of good work in their community. I'm not going to shit on them. They are in a cult. And they're in a cult that they don't know that they're in. And I think that it's incumbent upon us to understand the way they see the world, in terms of understanding how to deal with this cult. No, I don't think they can, because this is part of their identity. This is who they are. So I don't think, guys, we cannot wake up people in a cult. We cannot deprogram people from a cult. We can't do that. The only thing that we can do is understand how they see the world, understand their perspective, understand what they're doing, understand their strategy, understand what they're going to do next, and then we work around them to wake up other people around them. But you can never, just because someone is nice doesn't mean they can be deprogrammed from a cult. Rain Dove has been in this cult their entire life. And again, I don't say that with any disrespect. I really, really don't. I think there are a lot of people in a lot of... I think the MAGA supporters are in a cult too. I think Trump supporters are in a cult too. So I'm not saying like this is the only cult in the world. I'm just saying that this is why we do this stuff. The more regular populist voters feel abandoned by the Mar-a-Lago elites, the more they will turn to the other cults the left is good at embracing. Well, that's the other thing. The left is good at embracing people. The left is good at accepting people. The left is good at, you know, welcoming people. I mean, you know, MAGA likes to be, oh, we're a big tent. We welcome everyone. We love everyone. No, they don't. No, they don't. Full stop. No, they don't. And they refuse to look at the bad apples in their own midst, and they refuse to see what's actually going on. And when people like me try to tell them, I'm like, let me tell you all the reasons that I do not support the conservative right anymore. Reason A, B, C, D, and E. And let me show you evidence. They're like, no, we can't hear you, Colin. We can't hear you. You're just a leftist. You're just a communist. You just want to abort your baby. Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, they're just as much in a cult as any of these people. And it's like, the left is much better at welcoming people in. That is a conservative bullshit talking point. Stop making shit up. This does not help the situation. This actually just makes it worse. When you deal in this conservative fantasy land that you've created in your own, she was just performing, guys. That was just all a performance. That's not who she is, guys. No, that is who Rain Dove is. That is who they are. You're building a bullshit fantasy around it based on how you want to see the world that is not hinged into reality at all. This is not helpful. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for today. I got to go because we're doing a supporter call in my community. If you would like to join that supporter call, head over to my Substack, which is Carlin, KARLYN.substack.com. I don't care how many times you say it, bro. It's not going to make it any more true. You making more shit up doesn't make it any more true, bro. If you want to come and join me on a supporter call now, if you want to continue arguing with me when you're obviously and clearly wrong, you can head over to my Substack, Carlin, KARLYN.substack.com. Click on the Unwoke Roundup email right in the center of the page. Then you scroll all the way down to the bottom, and underneath this red box, you are going to find the Zoom link to come and join me in the supporter call that we're going to do right now. There is also going to do, oh my God, I'm a female. That's you right now. That's literally you. That's literally you right now. No one cares. You're literally making shit up right now. You're being extremely disrespectful. I already told you to shut the fuck up. If you keep going, I'm just going to ban you in my chat because I don't want to hear. I don't want to fucking hear it. Trying to end the stream. Can't even do that in peace. Can't even do it in peace. Anyway, we're going to go do my supporter call now. I will see you guys tomorrow at 5 p.m. Hey, we got one more week until the election. One more fucking week. And then it's all over. And I don't care because I'm not voting for anyone. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Guys, take care. Have a good one. We'll see you soon. Bye.
How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
how is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.